One of the questions we most commonly get asked about Bromptons equipped with a 4-speed derailleur system is, well, how do I set it up? It's either not shifting into all the gears or it's making an awful noise. So today we're going to show you how the derailleur system works on a Brompton and how to set it up correctly. If you want your gears set up as nicely as this, keep watching. The derailleur is the part that moves the chain over the sprockets. It's commonly used on lots of bike. Inside the derailleur is a spring. Here's a derailleur not on the bike to give us a better view. And here is the spring. The spring moves the derailleur outwards towards the small sprocket. The gear cable moves the derailleur inwards towards the large sprocket. The chain tensioner keeps the chain under tension. This is especially important when you fold the Brompton. The chain tensioner and the derailleur are separate on the P and T line. The derailleur is connected to the integrated gear shifter with this cable. When you shift the shifter, the cable moves a set amount, either slacker or tighter, depending on which way you're changing. If you look closely on the derailleur, there are 2 small screws here. These are the limit screws. This is the high limit screw that stops your chain jumping into your frame on your small sprocket, and this is the low limit screw that stops your chain jumping into your wheel, not to be confused with the bolts which hold it onto the frame. There are 3 steps. Step 1, setting up the high limit screw. Step 2, setting up the indexing using the barrel adjuster. And step 3, setting up the low limit screw. The chances are, when you got your Brompton, the gears were set up correctly. The limit screws, they don't adjust the indexing. And a common problem is people think that their indexing is wrong and the limit screws will adjust this. It just makes it worse. So if it's not a new derailleur setup, I'd skip to the indexing section. Tools required: a 2mm Allen key and my fingers. Because it's not a new derailleur setup, I'm just adjusting. Just as a word of warning, we would recommend a good quality 2mm Allen key because it's tiny. I'm going to shift into number 4, the smallest cog, using the shifter. If you try and change gear and it doesn't, either your limit screw is set up wrong or your cable is too tight. You can adjust the barrel adjuster a couple of turns to slacken the cable. Try to change. Turn the barrel adjuster, try to change, repeat until it does change, and it's simply popped into the smallest sprocket. With the limit screw set like this, I cannot get my bicycle into the smallest sprocket. So I need to adjust it so that it will shift. I'm going to loosen it by a 1/4 turn and then pedal to see if it's just to move into my smallest sprockets. I can tell it's trying, so I'm going to do another 1/4 turn. It won't stay there yet, so we're going to repeat. And again, because it's making a lot of noise. I'm now happy that my high limit screw is set and I can move on to the indexing. Now we're going to set up the indexing. The first thing we're going to do is move to gear 3. If it doesn't change gear, don't worry, just turn your barrel adjuster 1 turn to the left. Once you've turned your barrel adjuster to the left, try to change into gear 3 again. If it doesn't change, repeat this process over and over until it does change. If it doesn't change, your gear cable may be too loose and need tightening. We're not covering that in this video. So now we should be able to try gear 2 and then gear 1. As I'm moving the barrel adjuster to the left, you should be able to see the chain moving to the left on the sprocket. I haven't changed gear, that is just the effect on the indexing. An easy way to remember it is your small sprocket is on the right, so you're turning your barrel adjuster to the right. If you want to adjust to the left, to the big sprocket, you turn it to the left. The aim is that it sounds quiet and sits in the middle, and you can change into all of your gears. And now the low limit screw adjustment. The chances are you probably won't need to do this because it is mostly just the indexing. Change into gear 2. That's the second largest sprocket. Now try to change into gear 1. If it doesn't go, the limit screw is too tight. and needs loosening. So let's loosen it. And now it went happily into gear 1. And as for the high limit screw, it's just a case of making sure it's not making excessive noise on the sprockets. If you like this video about adjusting your P or T line gears, which is simpler than most people think, please give us a big thumbs up. The chain tensioner, sorry, keep watching. That was bad, I just didn't shift the last cog. On the P line and the T line, the chain tensioner and the derailleur are separate parts. Can I do that without a massive pause? Whilst the shifter is in this, whilst the gear shifter is in the slackest position. And it doesn't go in the smallest sprocket. Either the limit screw is set up to... Inside the derailleur is a spring. The spring wants to move the